Well, good morning, everybody. We are having a little bit different class this morning. We, as a church, work with the Gaffners in Kenya, and we are pleased to have them with us here this morning. And Keith, I'm going to turn this over to Keith. He's going to do a presentation on everything that's been going on in Kenya. Keith? There you go.
Good morning. It's wonderful to be here with you all again, and we have some slides to show you and some things to talk about that. But first, I wanted to kind of just tell you what's going on, and I believe that we brought a poster to put in the bulletin, and some of the things I'm saying will be also with that poster. But first of all, I want to say you're going to see lots of things, and you're going to hear that we're doing lots of things. But we don't do this alone. We work with 7 other people, 6 of them families, and 1 a young man. The young man I've known since he came into the world 24 years ago. So he's been our youth minister at the Rock Center Church of Christ, and now he's working in Nablus, and he's part of the outreach program. And so he's a young man that I've known for a long time. And the other families, the main family that we work with is Joseph and Phyllis Mahoro. I think we've been together for 28 years. I've known him before he was a Christian. I've known him, we baptized him many years ago. Sammy we baptized. And so a lot of these people that I'm working with have been baptized by us as missionaries. And so they've all married and have families now, and Alan is actually the son, the oldest son of Phyllis and Joseph. And so Joseph and Alan, and we'll get a picture of him here in a minute, of them in a minute. We do all kinds of things together. And we do a lot with the orphans and the widows. That's actually their ministry, but I help them with their ministry. They also work with World Bible School. They do, Joseph does follow-up from World Bible School. And so I help him in his ministry. I also have some ministries that he helps me with. And so they are our teammates. And so every ministry that we're involved with, we coordinate back and forth with them. And so I just, you'll see the picture of them. But we're not doing this on our own, okay? So we're old people now. And I'm of an age, gray hair and everything. People don't call me in the afternoon because they say old people are supposed to take naps in the afternoon. So I don't know if that's true or not. Is it true here in America? Yes. Yeah? So, but anyway, even when we're here on furlough, I call like 5 out of 7 days. I'm talking to Joseph and seeing what's going on. So we do ministry together. But I want to talk about some of the ministries that have started and we're doing. And the papers, I said, there'll be 2 pieces of paper out there. You can read more about the ministries, but I just want to mention them. One of the first ministry is a Sunday school ministry. Sammy Kibet and his wife Rachel, they work with that ministry. Sammy Kibet was a young man who, as I said, I brought to the Lord. And through time, he's become very involved with an organization that starts Sunday school. He teaches Sunday school teachers, and they do it much different than the average people. It's a program that has started in South Africa, and he worked with the system, but now he is the main man in all of Kenya. He's in charge of all the programs that are in Kenya. And they do things differently. They have different levels. So the first level is a week-long level where they come in and they teach the language of children. And the language of children is games and stories. And so they go home, they send the teachers home, and they practice that. Then the second year they come in and they come and they teach them more about how to incorporate a lot of Bible things into their stories, into their games and other things. And then the third year is they put them, they add to that, and they become where they can teach other teachers the program. Now I'm going to talk more about this because you guys are involved in that program. So this year you you gave some money for Sammy to go and do his thing. Now, Sammy is kind of a key here because he wanted to go in different areas of Kenya to teach other places. And so we teamed up with you guys and him to go to different areas. And there's a map we'll see. We're going to places that are, some of the places are 3.5 hours away from our home. So we're going to go to a town called Bomet, Baringo. We're going 2 places in Baringo, which are down in the Rift Valley. We're going to Kapsabet, Bugoma, and I know all these names don't mean anything to you, but all of them are away from Eldoret. So basically, he's been working around Eldoret, and we've been working around Eldoret in our own county, but now it's time to spread the word. So Sammy's program reaches kids from age 0 to 13. And so I said, okay, what happens to the young kids after that? And so we developed another program called Regional Outreach, where we're going out with another team to reach the young people. And so they did this in April. The young people, of all the places that they've gone, numbers about 1,200 young people came to hear a message. And we're going to be doing this for 3 years. So the Sunday school program is for 3 years. The young senior youth is for 3 years. So we're going to be teaching Sunday school teachers. They're going to reach the Sunday school, and we're going to be reaching the young people through our program. But it's based on what you guys are doing, and so it's the program we are serving. You guys are integral part of serving Kenya. So we're teaching, as I just mentioned, 2 of those programs. We're going out to those different areas. It just started. It's a 3-year program. We're also working with existing churches, helping the leaders in existing churches to grow. We're expanding. We are teaching young people. Our whole mission basically is really focused on young people. And so we've had, there's a college that we have sent youth to. The first 2 years before COVID, we sent 24 youth to. They got a certificate in Bible. In December, we have 52 youth who will also have a certificate in Bible. They go for 2-year periods. And so now that we're going to be expanding to all these other places, I've talked to the Bible college, and they're going to allow us to take 100 youth to that 2-year program so that they can study for Bible for 2 years. And that's very critical because now these young people, they know Bible, they've memorized Bible, they're doing what the Bible says, and they are the leaders. This new church that we've started by Alan. He's one of the people who has a diploma. He went to the next level, got a diploma. And so it's all being done through youth. So us old people are stepping aside. They told we're old, we're supposed to be taking naps. And so they told us, they told Joseph and I, you guys are old now. You guys give us advice, you give us your wisdom, and we're going to go out and do the work. So we're training a generation from Sunday school all the way up. And then it's not stopping there, because recently we found out that as well, that the young people who are beyond 21, the young married couples or almost to be married couples, they also have nobody who works with them. And so in the Novelist area and in the Moy Ben area, we have Titus, and is working with that group of people in the Novelist area. Francis is working with that group of people. And so they're going through different books and teaching many different things. And so we're trying to reach the whole generation from age 0 all the way to about age 30 for the gospel. And so that's what we're planning to do for the next 3 years. And so we're working through these people. We're also involved in orphans and widows. So we have 2 places that we're working. And so let me just start in Moy Ben. Moy Ben, I work with Pastor Titus and his wife Joanne. And they have the whole program there. They have a Sunday school program. They have a senior youth program. They have the young married program. And they're also working with widows and orphans. So we have 50 widows that he's working with, which is that those 50 widows are being helped to some limited degree by a family in Michigan. We have 27 orphans there, and those 27 orphans, to some small degree, are also being helped by family in Tennessee. And so we're helping with them. The main program is at Novelis, which it includes Serdigoit, Novelis, and even our church in Rock Center, which is in town. And total there we have 76 widows that we're helping and 209 orphans. And when we say help them, basically what we're doing is saying they sleep with a relative or they sleep with somebody who's just taking care of them, but they come to the facility, they eat lunch, and they eat supper. And then twice a year they get clothes. And sometimes the clothes is school clothes because they don't have school clothes. We're trying best as we can to keep them in school and to help move them forward. And so, and then of course, once in a while there's some medical needs along the way. So that's what we're doing. That's Phyllis and Joseph's program, but I help whatever I can in that program. And starting new ministry, I think I mentioned that already. And then there's another ministry that we started before COVID. I started it, and it's called Romance and Dating 101. Eldoret is a college town. We have lots of college students. We have several colleges around, and we have the kids no longer stay on the farm. They come to town to get an education, and so we have a lot of young mothers, single mothers who have babies because guys cheat them. And they get pregnant, and so we wanted to start this program. We started it at our church at Rock Center. Then COVID hit, and then after COVID, we started it back again. And instead, the Lord told me that I shouldn't be the one because Francis and Terry, who's a young couple, Francis is 33, Terry's a little bit younger. They came to the last meeting before COVID. And I soon realized very quickly that some old guy doesn't need to be teaching young kids about dating and romance. And so, and the kids just kind of flocked to them. And so after COVID, we started that program again. We moved it from our church to another church in town. And we have, presently we have 7 churches that bring their young people, the college age, and we talk about romance and dating and what it means from a Christian perspective versus for what the society says. And it's been really exciting to hear what they say. The first day I was really touched. They broke into small groups, and one girl said, yesterday, that water tower out there, I climbed that water tower out there, and I was going to commit suicide. But she said I chickened out. And so it's over the last year and a half has become a group where you can just come together and meet with young people who are like-minded, who are Christian, and we're talking the same thing. Out of that, several young families are getting married. So we have like 3 or 4 young families in there who are getting married. And I'm going to talk, and we're not going to see the slides because of time. So let's do some slides. Okay, first slide, serving through you in Kenya. So you guys are an integral part of what happens because you help us, but you're also part of the Sunday school program, which I said is part of what's happening. So this is, you see Santa Claus. Santa Claus is, 74 years old. He's an elder of our church that sponsors us, and he came to visit us this year. And so he actually is a Santa Claus in Abilene during that holiday time. So he actually came to visit us, and so these are some pictures that he took. But you see the house behind, that's our house. Up above you see windows to let light in. Electricity is expensive over there. So this is Joseph and Phyllis, the people that I say that are our teammates, and we work together with them. So these people need a lot of prayer. So just take a real quick picture in your mind, snapshot. These are very important people in the kingdom. We work very well together. he has gifts that I don't have, and I have gifts that he doesn't have, and God has just put us together to work with all these different ministries. We know people, as I said, in different areas all throughout Kenya, and so because of that, we are able now to go and minister all throughout Kenya. This is a Sunday school program. This is at Novelist Church of Christ. Short story, God is miraculous. We had a mud house, a mud church building. It was destroyed because of a flood. Phyllis and another lady by the name of Margaret was working, teaching the young girls. The Lord worked it out that we got a plot of land on higher ground, miraculous. And so instead of just working with a few children that were coming to the church, a few young ladies, we decided to open it up to a program where the whole community can bring their children. And so 2 Saturdays every month, from 10 to 1, we have the Sunday school teachers who come and all these youth that come. So they average minimum 200, sometimes up to 280. I think it was the highest number that we've ever had. So they teach them for 2 hours, and then at 1 o'clock they serve them lunch. So you can just see, this is the original church building. The other one was another building that we built. This is a church building that we have there. One of the miracles is somebody donated that money to build that building. And to this day, we don't know who it was. So somebody said, I know somebody they're buying a house, and they said before they buy their house, they wanted to buy a house for the Lord. So they built us a building there. One of the things is at one of our senior youth meetings, the senior youth meet twice a month. So the Sunday school come twice a month on Saturdays. The senior youth come twice a month. We had a speaker who came and talked about praise and worship. And worship is really bowing down. That's literally what it means. And so the senior youth, they took it literal. That's why I like working with young people, because before this, they said, Bible says you're supposed to fast, and they ask all of us old people why we don't fast in the church. So they went ahead and started fasting, and every school holidays they fast for at least 3 days, sometimes 5 days. And so they said, worship means you're supposed to bow down. So they bow down. And so the young people do everything that the older people do. And so we've had now like 3 generations. We taught the older ones who are like 24, 25. They've taught the ones under them. And now the ones under them are teaching these guys. And so these guys, I'm sure down the road, will be teaching the next generation as well. And so so Sunday school they're worshiping the Lord by bowing down. So I don't know, maybe we'll practice that today. I don't know. We'll see what the leadership says. And then as I said afterwards, we have lunch. And so there's some nice food that you see. You see rice. I think this is beans. No, this is not beans. This is mung bean. You know mung beans? We call them green grams. They're a legume. And then we have cabbage. They get a little bit of cabbage as well. Okay, so there's a happy camper. So they come there, they get a plate full of food. This is a picture of the orphans that are there at Novelist that we feed and take care of. This is the building. These are the buildings where we have our main feeding station. And so we have a guardhouse there. The man who sleeps there is the guard, and he also helps around washing dishes and things like that. Then we have Mama Wiki stays in the next house over. Mama Wiki is the head widow. Okay, all the cooks are widows, and so she stays in that house. And then behind it, we have another little kitchen, which they use sometimes when they need extra kitchen space, extra ovens. And then in front, we have a portion mill for grinding all the maize. And then on this side over here, is supposed to be the place for dining, for sitting, as well as the kitchen. So this is the mainstay. And then you'll see behind, we're right immediately behind these buildings on the right-hand side. When we go back, we'll be building a cow barn. and a chicken barn, and also biogas. So that's the last project that we want to do there. And then behind that is the garden area. And so the biogas, right now we cook with wood, and wood is expensive. So we're going to be using the cow manure. Okay, it's like this. The chicken manure gets fed to the cows as one of their foods. And then the cow manure goes to the biogas, and the biogas, the leftover will go to grow the vegetables, and the biogas will be used for cooking. So that's my last project of building I have to do yet. And so this is some of the widows. They're not used to sitting inside. Where Africa, we don't sit inside. Mainly the house on the inside is for sleeping. We don't do much on the inside. They prefer to eat on the outside. And so this is a garden. This is, and the next person, this young man came to us. He is from a program. He's from the slums of Nairobi. Another organization, a Christian organization, has a program down in the slums, and they teach these young people, and the ones who want to become farmers, they have a farm outside of Nairobi where they take and train them for 2 years. And so we know that organization. So he's been trained in many things in agriculture. So we asked him to come to help us to grow vegetables. So the vegetables you see there are for the feeding program. Okay? So he's our professional, and he is in the process also teaching the young people who are interested in agriculture about agriculture. Okay? So his name is Newton. So he's a young man. While he was doing the 2 years of training for agriculture, he was also finishing his school. He passed very well in his school. He came to us. He got involved with the Sunday school program. So he attended the level 1 teaching for Sunday school teachers. So he helps in the church with the Sunday school teachers. He's also part of the youth program. So he's helping there. So he's a wonderful young man. And so this is just a picture of I don't know how old that lady is, but just a picture that got off the thing you'll see on the bulletin board. And whenever a visitor comes, you always have to have a church meeting. So after I went to Nablus with Raymond, and he just, anyway. And he was completely amazed because the widows who have absolutely nothing, I'm telling you, some of them sleep on the floor, some of their houses are terrible conditions. Somehow they gathered enough money to give him a present. And so that was a really humbling. Africans are givers. And that was a very humbling situation for him. And that day tears were streaming from his eyes. Francis and Terry, who they have an interesting story. Francis taught my daughters in school. And then God called him to Rwanda to be a missionary there. So he was there for 5 years. His future wife named Terry, I met her for 15 minutes before they went to Rwanda. They eventually married. Terry went to Rwanda as well. And then decided that the Lord was calling them back to Kenya. So they were not going to come back to Eldoret. They didn't want to come back to Eldoret. But Terry said, I think the Lord is telling us to go work with Keith and to work with Keith's ministry. So they were having problems as well with having children. And so we all band together, Grace and us, we band together to pray about having children. And so this is their firstborn daughter, Praise. And so she's like my granddaughter. They call her my granddaughter. And yeah, so it's like my granddaughter. So, but Francis and Terry, they work together with the romance and dating. They work together with going to Nablus on those 2 Saturdays. What else? He's also one of the leaders for going for the regional outreach. So he feels, you need to really pray for Francis because he feels that the Lord is calling him to full-time ministry. So he's a teacher. Okay, that's what he's been doing all his life. But he felt that the Lord was calling him to get into ministry. So in December last year, he stopped teaching, and he's trusting the Lord to provide for him. And he feels that now he spent several months praying over this, and his wife as well have been praying over this. He came to see me one day, and wanted my opinion about whether he should quit or not. And so I gave him my opinion. It was, this is the Lord, then do it. The Lord will take care of you. And so afterwards, I was talking to Terry, and she was like, I was so afraid that, you being a father and having children and everything, that you're going to tell him he has to keep his job because he has a wife, he has a child to support. And so she said, I'm so afraid that you're going to tell him he has to keep his teaching job. So she is 100% behind him giving up teaching, that monthly income, to go out and serve the Lord. They're wonderful people. Pray for them. Our seniors, this is our senior group. The two ladies in the front, the lady in the middle with a green shirt, that is Choki. She is in school right now studying tailoring, and one of her goals is to teach the young orphan girls after they graduate school how to use their sewing machine and tailoring. Lydia, she's also a young lady that, you guys have helped. You helped put her through secondary school. She's an orphan as well because of the clashes. And you guys helped her put her through secondary school. And she's gone to beauty school. Now she's working in a beauty salon. But these two ladies are part of the Saturday program for the senior youth. And so then there's another one of your people over there. Okay? Every month, cake is a big thing over in Kenya. So every month they have a birthday celebration. This is the birthday celebration for March. My birthday's in March. So I was part of the action. This is going back to Rock Center Church of Christ in town. Abu is a young man. You see Santa Claus there. But Abu is a young man who we've known for 14 or 15 years. He's very active in Scouts. He's a young man who didn't do very well in school, tried to commit suicide, but the Lord prevented that from happening. Now he is very active. He teaches Sunday school teachers. He's very active in Scouts. He goes to several schools in our area, works with Scouts. Very, very talented young man. And this is the Rock Center Church of Christ. This is a church that I go out a lot. This church is like a 7-8 minute walk from our house, and this is where Grace attends on Sunday a lot of the time. And so pray for us. You see those windows in the back? They are removable. So we're hoping one day this church will get so full that we can take those windows out and put an extension to that church. And so this is romance and dating. We usually have around 60 to 70 young people there. Raymond came and talked to them. And it's like a 74-year-old guy talking to a 24-year-old person. We didn't know how that was going to go, but he went back all the way to when he was dating his wife. And he did an excellent job. Okay? I realized a lot hasn't changed in 50 years. Yeah. Okay. This is going to Charangani Hills. And this is another family I mentioned that we work with who have the ministry in NYA. Titus and Joanne. They have their children there. I knew them. I picked Joanne up from her house to take her to church to be married that day. So we've known these people for a long time as well. And so this is a picture a lot of people like. They're digging a new well. And so people this is how we dig it by hand. Out at Novelist, the wells are like 52 feet deep. And they're all dug by hand, just like that. And this is the Mount Olive Church of Christ there. They had to put an extension on because they were either going to go to 2 services or build an extension on the church. And in the back, you'll see a house. And that house is made from stones. And out in that area, and even over in Novelist, we're now beginning to see where people just put the boards in poles in the ground. They put wire, and then they just put the stones there, and you can put some mud between the stones. And this is the inside of that same house. And these are the people that stay in that house who are helping with the church. And then you plaster the inside. So outside looks like stones, inside. You can plaster it to whatever level you want. Okay, this is the Sunday school at Mount Olive, and y'all Sunday school sent over some money, and we did two things with it. We bought Bibles for some of the kids at the other three churches that we work with, Novelist, Segoid, and Rock Center, but we also bought benches for the kids at Mount Olive. And so you can only see a little piece of one bench, but those are your benches, okay? So you guys are really involved in the ministry. This picture doesn't show very much, but it's a picture just kind of showing that we are from different areas and how far we are. This is another technology. On the house on the left is Grace's mud house that I bought. I built her in the year 2000. And then now we have a plastic house. And so I've been building plastic houses. These are sheets of plastic that are compressed. And so they go up really fast. You can build a house like this in 2 weeks if you have all the materials there. And so this house is for one of the widows who, the people where she was living told her that she couldn't live there any longer. So she's one of the cooks. So we put her and her children here so that she's real close to where she is and she can cook. Okay? So I know I'm out of time. I have 2 more pictures. This is my garden. This is what I do to relieve stress. Stress is birds. So I build a cage because the birds like to eat everything that we like to eat. They somehow get into this cage. One thing is stop signs. Raymond and another visitor we had said, we don't see stop signs. Where are they? Well, they are there. They are few, they are far between, and they are not meant to stop. They're only a suggestion to slow down before you keep going. In Kenya, you're a 95% defensive driver, okay, and 5% normal driver. Because we're Christian. Huh?
Slightly tap on pedal.
So anyway, our time is gone. Grace, our time is gone. You got 30 seconds to say thank you. Tim has already gotten up, so